The tale of Hades and Persephone is one of the most well-known love stories in Greek mythology. But what compelled the god of the dead and king of the underworld to abduct the innocent Persephone? And how did their story shape the world as we know it? Welcome to the mysteries of mythology, Hades and Persephone. Persephone, the daughter of Zeus and Demeter, was the embodiment of spring's vitality and youth's innocence. She liked to dance in fields filled with flowers, her laughter a melody that captivated the hearts of all who heard it. It was on one such day, in the vibrant splendor of nature, that Hades, the formidable ruler of the underworld, saw Persephone. Struck by her beauty and grace, Hades experienced an emotion unfamiliar to his cold, shadowed existence: love. This emotion, raw and unbidden, compelled him to conceive a plan that would forever alter the fate of gods and mortals alike. Aware of the opposition to their union, particularly from Demeter, who loved her daughter more than life itself, and who would certainly reject the idea of her daughter being trapped in the underworld, Hades sought the counsel of Zeus, the father of Persephone. Zeus, siding with his brother, agreed with the union without making Demeter aware of the decision, and helped his brother hatch a plan. Demeter was the goddess of agriculture and harvest, celebrated by the Greeks for providing a bountiful harvest. She'd often descend from Mount Olympus with her daughter Persephone to tend to the fields of earth. But on a fateful day, Demeter left her daughter under the watch of Cyane the water nymph as she tended to her duties. Zeus, knowing that the water nymphs would never let Persephone out of their sight, asked his mother Gaia to plant a beautiful narcissus flower just away from where the nymphs could see. Cyane and Persephone were admiring the beautiful narcissus flower when the earth began to tremble. Suddenly, the ground surrounding the narcissus flower fell away, leaving a giant void. From this chasm, Hades emerged, his chariot drawn by steeds as black as night. He seized Persephone, her cries lost to the void as he spirited her away to his shadowy realm. No matter how much she tried, Cyane could not save Persephone. In some versions, after Persephone was lost, Cyane cried so hard that she dissolved into the river. In another version, it was Hades that transformed her into the river. This transformation led to the creation of the river Cyane in southern Sicily. There is also one last addition in the later tellings of the story. As Demeter was unable to punish Cyane for losing her daughter, in her fury, she turned on the other sea nymphs, transforming them into beasts with bird-like bodies, talons, and wings. Henceforth, they were known as sirens. The choice of the narcissus flower to ensnare Persephone is full of symbolism. The narcissus, often associated with unrequited love, mirrors the unbalanced affection between Hades and Persephone. Additionally, its short and fleeting bloom serves as a reminder of the boundary between life and death, foreshadowing the impermanent nature of Persephone's presence above ground. The Underworld, a domain of shadows and silence. Here, in the heart of darkness, Hades revealed his kingdom. Hades had tried his best to make Persephone comfortable, treating her with compassion and building her beautiful gardens to wander. In later tellings, the story became romanticized, saying that Hades' compassion and kindness changed her perception of the god of the dead. These versions say that she had started to fall in love with him, but I don't think that was the case. Even in the time of the ancients, when marriages were often arranged or even forced, it's not likely that Persephone, a goddess embodying life and renewal, could genuinely fall for the god of death. After all, he had set a trap, kidnapped her and imprisoned her away from her family, and in return, all she got were good manners and a fancy garden. As days merged into nights with little distinction, Persephone's initial despair gave way to a begrudging acceptance. She learned to navigate the complexities of her new domain, her presence bringing a semblance of life to the lifeless, her grace illuminating the gloom of the underworld. In this realm of eternal twilight, Persephone grew from a maiden to a queen, her rule marked by compassion for the souls under her care. But one act cemented her permanence in the underworld. In the underworld, there was an abundance of delicious pomegranates, but it was said that eating any of the food in the underworld bound you to the domain. Whether it was hunger or whether Hades tricked her, Persephone ate the seeds of the pomegranate, sealing her fate to always return. Above, in the realm of light, Demeter's heart was shattered. The loss of her beloved daughter plunged her into depths of sorrow so strong that the earth itself mourned with her. Demeter, in her grief, roamed the earth in search of Persephone, her pleas for her unanswered. She ran to Mount Olympus for help. Many of the gods knew of the deal Zeus made with Hades, but none dared to disclose the truth to her. With no help from the other gods, Demeter continued looking for her daughter alone. With Demeter no longer tending to the harvests, fields once abundant with fruit and vegetables lay barren. Trees shed their leaves in mourning, and rivers ceased their flow. The once bountiful harvests failed, and famine crept across the land like a shadow, sparing no one in its wake. As mortals began to perish, the gods took notice. Their concern grew. The worship and tributes from mortals were essential to their divine status, and without them, their power waned. Zeus visited Demeter and ordered that she return to her duties, but Demeter refused. Once more, Demeter looked for help, this time turning to the all-seeing sun god, Helios. Helios was close to Demeter, as they had worked together to grow the harvests each year. Helios admitted that he had seen the abduction and knew of the deal Hades had made with Zeus. Demeter was furious. Demeter once more returned to Olympus, but this time with the knowledge of what had transpired. She demanded that Zeus return their daughter to her, and swore if he didn't, then the lands would never be fertile again. At first, Zeus refused, saying that Persephone had eaten the fruit of the underworld and therefore was committed to the domain. But without the life that Demeter gave to the earth, the land of the dead and the mortal world would become the same. So they made a deal. Zeus said that Persephone would return to the land of the living for 2/3 of the year, but for the remainder, she would return to the land of the dead. With the arrival of spring, Persephone's return to the world of the living brought with it renewal and joy. The earth blossomed in her presence, crops thrived, and life resumed its cycle. However, with her inevitable descent into the underworld, the earth once again fell into winter. The bargain between Zeus, Demeter, and Hades serves as the mythological explanation for the changing seasons, a narrative that intertwines love, loss, and the eternal cycle of renewal. The story of Hades and Persephone has divided people for years. Some believe that Hades' cold heart grew warm, and seeing this transformation, Persephone slowly fell in love. Others see Hades as a villain, kidnapping Persephone and tricking her into eating the pomegranate so she could never escape. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Join me in the next video of the mysteries of mythology.